Guba Card welcomes you to the land of gold, Ghana. The Guba Card is a unique loyalty card which gives you the opportunity to enjoy discounts of up to 40% on goods and services. You enjoy discounts of the best of hotels, amazing restaurants, beauty lounges, spas, health centres, fashion houses and shopping centres in Ghana. The Guba card can also be used as a prepaid Visa card with Access Bank, our partners, offering you conveniences on all payment platforms. Applications is safe, secure and valuable. Call us or WhatsApp us on 0245 156 705. Visit www.gubadiaspora.com. Guba Card, the best discount card in Ghana.
Imperial Homes Ghana and Great Britain has carved a niche for itself within the real estate industry as the premier provider of luxury homes in Ghana and England, with a mission to provide safe, good value, modern housing and personalized estate management services to its clients and customers. All our homes meet the Lifetime Home Standard, as well as the highest standards of engineering excellence, safety, environmental sustainability, and cost efficiency. Imperial Homes, a signature of luxury.
Tenta, welcome, how are you?
Thank you. I'm good, thank you. How
Good.
are you?
Very good, come in,
Thank
come in.
you.
It's almost like I was expecting you.
Really? Thank you for having me.
Pleasure, you're very welcome. Always welcome.
Right. Iain, we met in the UK before you came down and you had a lot of expectations. And now you've set out some priorities, some key priorities whilst you're here, things that you want to achieve.
Yeah.
Let's discuss some of that.
Yeah, so I think when we spoke in London before I came, obviously I'd been very briefly to Ghana before. But coming now, it's fantastic to kind of just meet so many interesting, really different people, full of ideas and lots of energy and lots of ambition. So now that I've been here a while, thinking about what we want to achieve, it really is about following the Ghanaian president's ambition of moving beyond aid. It's a kind of key theme. What does that mean? Maybe say a bit more about that. And for the UK, as it moves beyond the EU, how are we looking at becoming truly kind of global Britain and what that means for our relationships around the world. So in practical terms, that's a big focus on trade and investment. It's a big focus really on building out the cultural links that exist between our countries. There's between 250,000 and 500,000 Ghanaians living in the UK. So how do we kind of make even more of that? And then how do we make sure we don't take for granted things that are already so strong between our countries? So that's really what we're focusing on just now.
So those are your priorities, things that you're looking at. Absolutely. So this notion of Ghana beyond aid, how do you feel about that? Do you think it can work?
Some people have asked me this before, and my response always is, why not? Why would it not work? There's no reason in my mind why Ghana should not be economically independent. I think that strikes me as an absolutely laudable and desirable goal. I think there's quite a lot of hard work to do to get there, but I think it's absolutely the right goal. And I think I tend to look at Ghana as a kind of reference point for the rest of Africa, actually. And I think there's so much hope, there's so much potential in Africa, but the strong countries really need to kind of make it through and succeed. And you've got to look at Ghana as one of those countries. And I think with some of the right policies in place, then Ghana can. And what that means to me in practice is making sure that, as well as the changing away from development, it's about focusing on investment and working as partners. And I think that's a big focus of what we've got to do.
So do you think the UK is going to play a major part in that? Do you think there's going to be more investors probably coming into Ghana, more trade deals? What are you thinking that the UK can play?
So I hope so. Look, we have a common language. We're 6 hours away from each other. So many kind of common values, common kind of rule of law, and there's a massive risk, I think, that we take that for granted. We must not do that. So what does it mean? For me, it means looking across the priority areas for Ghana, whether you look at things like infrastructure, rail, ports, so much of what is looking to be done, roads, big priorities here. I don't ever say that the UK has all the answers, but I think what we always say is we're partners, we understand each other. You generally know what you will get with the Brits. We'll be open, we'll be transparent, and we hope we'll try and bring some of the values that exist in the UK into Ghana, which is what I think Ghana wants. So for me, that's a big area. So right across areas of infrastructure. Also, we do lots of work already in oil and gas, big companies here. And how we do stuff around some of the small and medium companies is a big thing for me. You know, talked about the diaspora. There's a market in the UK waiting to buy a lot of stuff here. So if I was an exporter in Ghana, I'd be thinking UK, I'd be thinking who in the UK would want to buy these things, and how can they multiply my opportunities? So it's not just about, you know, the UK into Ghana, it's about Ghana back into the UK as well.
And so what part is DIT playing in this?
So DIT, Department for International Trade, they play a really important part. So they are trying to create links between UK companies and local Ghanaian companies, because this is all about working together in partnership. We're also, DIT are also working on things like after the UK leave the EU, how do we have the right trade agreements in place? So on day one, it's about making sure that we have an ability, a legal framework for that to continue. But then also beyond that, to think what comes next. So they do work on that side as well. But in truth, for me as High Commissioner, I tend not to think in terms of departments about DIT or DFID or whatever. It's a whole mission effort, and really in real life cuts through all those areas. You know, so whether it's development or trade, these are all part of the same things. Even, dare I say, some of our border force people who work at the ports. Part of that's about security. Part of that is about making sure that likes of Tema and Takoradi, once it becomes more used, it's about making sure that people can export quickly, freely, and bring their goods to market simply.
It's true. Well, you know, one of the major things that I'm sure you get tweets about, people call you about, is visa. America has actually 1.7 million Ghanaians apply for visa each and every year. Is that the same for the UK?
It's not as many as that, but it's in the hundreds of thousands that we have applying for visas, and we approve well over half.
Okay. And so, what are some of the issues that people are facing? Because we've had a number of emails and texts about the delays. There's been several delays in that, and sometimes people feel as if they're refused wrongly, that actually they're not thinking of staying in the UK, but it looks like probably the criteria is kind of too strict. Well, how do you feel about that?
I hear a lot of the same kind of things, and I think, you know, during the summer, or during certainly August and September, just when I arrived, there was a backlog, and I think there were delays, and we said so at the time, and we apologised to those that were affected and tried to make sure we kept in touch. You know, as of today, none of our visas, there is no visa backlog, so anyone that applied should be completely kind of on track. Those that applied for the fast service should be getting it done on time. What do I say? I say a couple of things really. Ghana is unfortunately still one of the more high risk countries for people who apply for visas around the world. Why is that? It's because there are still people who take visas, go to the UK and do not come back within the time frame. Now, for the individual, they may think that's a good decision. Unfortunately, for the UK, when they look across the piece, that feeds into some of the data that then says how risky are different countries. That said, you know, we still approve well over half, significantly over half. And our ambition is the purpose of visas is to help people travel, not to stop them. So we have tried to do work to try and make sure that, for example, anyone that applies is kept up to date with where their application is, and where there are problems we can try and pick them up more quickly. But I hope as of now there aren't the same kind of problems. Our advice is always to apply early. Nearly a huge percentage of the problems are people who apply but don't apply with all the right documentation, and then they hit a deadline and it isn't in on time, and that's the kind of stuff that I hear coming through quite a bit as well.
Okay. And then do you think that there's a lot of people that think that probably going away to the UK is for like greener pastures, as they will say? Do you think that actually you've been here, there's opportunity for Ghanaians actually in Ghana? Yeah,
look, unemployment is still high in Ghana, and so for those that choose to travel for whatever reason, I respect their their choice. But I think that there is a lot to be said for staying in Ghana, and I think a lot to be said about why we in the UK believe that a prosperous Ghana is a good thing, period. It's not just about UK-Ghana trade, not by any means. We firmly believe it's in the UK national interest for Ghana to be prosperous. And why it's because what you're alluding to there, which is people who see opportunity in their own country are much more likely to want to stay. And I think there's huge opportunity here. I think there is genuinely huge opportunity across many different parts of Ghanaian life. And I think you see it with the number of entrepreneurs who are kind of coming up. You see it with the kind of budding businesses in areas of kind of fashion and such like. But I think there is genuinely a lot to do. There's clearly a challenge with employment, which the government recognise, and tackling that will be a key part to, I think, making sure people really do want to stay.
There's an assumption in the life of a diplomat. It is meetings, dinner, living in different countries. What is it like, actually, being a diplomat?
What is it like? So first of all, it's a privilege. It's a massive privilege to be a diplomat and to represent the UK here in Ghana. It is, I don't want to burst any balloons, but it's quite a hard work as well at times. That's not to complain. So it's a lot of things. It's a bit of a, you have to be a bit of a jack of all trades. I'm mindful of what comes next as master of none. So we try not to be that. But whether it's, as I said, often dealing with businesses. Well, how do we do more to empower kind of youth? How do we do more to broaden representation for those with disability, for broader diversity and such like? We really believe in that as a country, and we're really keen to share our thinking on that. Climate, environmental issues. We know just now in Ghana, things like plastics are a big issue. It's a huge issue in the UK. I think it's a global issue, and we only deal with it together. So we're doing work on some of that. So literally across the kind of waterfront of what you might regard as national interest issues we talk about. And then we try and find a lot of common interests in things around sport, around cultural interests.
And who's your favourite football team again?
So I'm an Arsenal fan. We've all got our crosses to bear. I also support Dundee United in Scotland. They are significantly less successful. So
Guba Card welcomes you to the land of gold, Ghana. The Guba Card is a unique loyalty card which gives you the opportunity to enjoy discounts of up to 40% on goods and services. You enjoy discounts of the best of hotels, amazing restaurants, beauty lounges, spas, health centres, fashion houses and shopping centres in Ghana. The Guba card can also be used as a prepaid Visa card with Access Bank, our partners, offering you conveniences on all payment platforms. Applications is safe, secure and valuable. Call us or WhatsApp us on 0245 156 705. Visit www.gubadiaspora.com. Guba Card, the best discount card in Ghana.
Imperial Homes Ghana and Great Britain has carved a niche for itself within the real estate industry as the premier provider of luxury homes in Ghana and England, with a mission to provide safe, good value, modern housing and personalized estate management services to its clients and customers. All our homes meet the Lifetime Homes standard, as well as the highest standards of engineering excellence, safety, environmental sustainability, and cost efficiency. Imperial Homes, a signature of luxury.
Tap me say, tapo na sende. Ah!